Hey, what's up you guys? So, today is my birthday. Yes, it is. I'm actually really excited about it. I know I'm getting older and some people tend to like freak out about that. I'm really happy to be baking myself a cake for my birthday, which kind of sounds cliche, but you know what? In quarantine times, we are going to bake a cake. So, I don't know why I keep doing this, but I'm excited. I am ready to destroy this kitchen. I am going to destroy this kitchen. So, without further ado, let's jump right on in. Wait, what was that? Wait, what? Oh, you want to know how old I'm turning? Well, unfortunately, that's privileged information, but what I can tell you is that if you click that subscribe button and that like button, I will let you guys know how old I'm turning. So today I'm going to be baking the ultimate healthy chocolate bundt cake. And you might be wondering like, Matthew, why are you doing a bundt cake? I love bundt cakes, okay? Nothing bundt cakes. Yes, that was a terrible pun and I realize that now and I'm very sorry. I wanted to give a shout out first of all to Amy's Healthy Baking for this recipe. And I'm really excited to try it out. I have some things I'm changing up a little bit, partially because I couldn't find the ingredients, but also just for my own diet and preferences. So the first thing you're going to want to do is to preheat that oven to 350 degrees. Well, not that oven, but your oven if you're going to try this. So as you can see, there are quite a few ingredients involved in this recipe. So first, I have my handy dandy mixing bowl. I'm going to be putting my dry ingredients inside of. So the first thing you're going to want to do is take 2 cups of cocoa powder or cocoa powder, whichever floats your boat. This is what I'm using today, and I've never tried this before, but we're gonna see how it goes. And I don't know if you guys watch Julian Salamita on YouTube. I love him so much and his cooking videos. Clearly you're not gonna find that quality here. But I did want to say, it's funny because Jenna's a Virgo and I'm a Virgo. Clearly my birthday's today. Which is really not today. I'm filming the day before my birthday, but shh, keep that on the down low. The funny thing is though, is that she gets on to him because he's an Aries and he's messy and things like that, but she's like so particular. I'm actually like Julian whenever I cook. I'm a Virgo and I don't use these things. I don't know how to use these things, and the only reason I have these things is because a friend gifted me these things. And so I am going to use this right off the bat. So my friend, if you're watching this, you'll see that I am using the cups that you gave me. I'm going to put 2 cups of this cocoa powder that I have, roughly, in the bowl. Whoa, that just exploded everywhere. I don't recommend doing it that way. If you can find a cleaner way, go for it. And I just did it 2 times in a row.
You stupid.
Literally 2 times in a row. It made a disaster on my counter everywhere. Oh, Jenna is quaking in her boots. Okay, let's see here. I feel like it's just messier that way to use those things. Like I said, we're going to destroy my kitchen. I'm pretty sure I said that. I am going to destroy this kitchen. So the next thing that we're going to do is put our flour in. I have super fine blanched almond flour. This original recipe calls for whole wheat pastry flour. I did not find that at H-E-B. So first of all, H-E-B, get your act together because this is something that we should have in the store. It's the Bob's Red Mill brand, and they have all of the other things by Bob's Red Mill, I feel like, in there, except this one thing. So I was like, come on, H-E-B, get it together. But you're gonna want 1 3/4 cups, so that's about that much, maybe. That was maybe a little too much, but it's almond flour, so it's not gonna be, you know, the same as a whole wheat pastry flour. So the next guys you're gonna wanna grab is the baking powder and the baking soda. So make sure you get the right ones out for these next 2 measurements if you take measurements. But you want 2 teaspoons of the baking powder. So 2 teaspoons of the baking powder. Close enough. And then 1 teaspoon of baking soda. So just make sure the ratio is correct. And then the next thing you want to do is a 1/2 teaspoon of salt, which I mean essentially is just like a quick little dash. And so that's actually it for the dry ingredients so far in the bowl. We're gonna set these guys and let them hang out over here for now. Before we keep going in the recipe, I did want to just say I'm not a big sweets person. And so I love healthy recipes. I've been doing these types of recipes for a while. I was big on paleo recipes a few years back. I would make all sorts of paleo desserts and things of that nature, especially like coffee cakes. And I would literally, there were days I would eat the whole cake in one day. We're gonna leave it at that. But it was delicious, and you can still make really great foods that are very delicious and very dessert-y. That's a word now. And they still be healthy, right? Or at least more healthy than the alternative super processed foods and baking mixes. Just wanted to put that out there because you guys know I'm an advocate for nutrition and eating healthy. And so I have to have my little blurb, my little piece of me. You're going to want to get a separate bowl now. This is going to be more for our wet ingredients. So the next thing we're gonna do is we're going to separate out our egg whites. You want 4 large egg whites. I don't know if this would be considered large enough or not, but I am old school and I just do the whole, you know, toss the yolk back and forth, toss it back and forth. Hot potato, hot yolk, I don't know what I'm doing. So there's that, and then second one. I dropped the yolk in the bowl. Oh my gosh, Matthew. You are such a failure in life. I'll never amount to anything. I'm never going to amount to anything. So we're gonna pretend like that did not just happen. And we're gonna keep going because I don't waste food. I got 3 out of 4. That's not bad. That's not bad. It's a 75, but we're gonna pretend that we're not in grade school. The next thing that we're gonna do, we're going to add a tablespoon of melted butter. While my butter is melting in the microwave, 1 tablespoon of vanilla, and that's about it. And then the last thing, and this might be something that you are not used to using, it calls for liquid stevia. You quiet in there, quiet down. Okay, so maybe that setting on the microwave doesn't work very well because I hear it bubbling, like it's boiling. We're gonna pretend that's not going on. And then I'm going to get my liquid stevia. I ended up going with this wholesome allulose. I don't know, I've never actually used this before. Hopefully it's going. Don't recommend doing that. The funny thing is though, it smells like cake. It does smell like cake. It smells like vanilla cake. You're going to want. Oh, I have butter splattered everywhere. You know what? This cake is gonna be immaculate. It's gonna be gorgeous. It's gonna be everything I want and need in my life and more. Go with it. Okay, so I have put my butter in just now. Whatever liquid 0-calorie sweetener you want to use. It does call for 5.5 teaspoons, so we're just gonna kind of squeeze a decent amount in. And then this next part might be where I lose some of you. This is another ingredient I did not have. It called for an erythritol confectioner's sugar, and essentially erythritol is just like a 0-calorie sweetener as well. But they did not have the confectioner's version of it, even though online at H-E-B, again H-E-B, I'm calling you out. You guys should have this on your shelves, especially if you advertise it online. And saying that it's in the store that I went to, I was very disappointed. I went all the way out of my way to a different H-E-B to get these ingredients, and they still didn't have it, even though online it said that this store had it specifically. I'm not bitter about that at all. It's just my birthday and I didn't get to get the right ingredients for my birthday cake, you know, no big deal. Shame on you. So I found a substitute for this, and essentially what you do is you take a sweetener. I stuck with the same brand just to keep it as consistent. I don't want to have a lot of different types of sweeteners in the cake. So you take a granulated version of it, a cup of sweetener, We're putting it in the blender because obviously confectioner's sugar is really fine and powdery. So a cup of that, and then you only want a tablespoon of arrowroot. That's around a tablespoon. And then cornstarch, also 1 tablespoon. So what we're going to do now is mix this up. Okay, so now that I have that mixed up, whoa. Oh my gosh. This isn't smoke, I promise, it's not smoke. Oh wow. Interesting. Oh, it's really fine though. Check this out. I don't know if you guys can really see it very well or if it's gonna focus well enough, but it's pretty fine down in there. I can smell the sweetness, which I don't know if that's a good thing or not, but I did all of that work for 6 tablespoons. So this is where we're gonna start stirring this together in our wet ingredients that we already put in the bowl. Okay, so now you wanna stir in 3/4 of a cup of Greek yogurt. I'm just putting this whole little thing of paille that I have. I don't use measurements. I guess I'm not like your typical Virgo. Okay, so here comes the weird part. You might be wondering like why we need white vinegar in our cake. And that's going to help it rise because we're not using a flour that typically rises really well, especially if it's a gluten-free flour. It's only 1/4 of a cup. Don't go ham on this because your cake's going to be weird if you go too much. So it's just 1/4 of a cup. The last thing you're going to add is the thing that I didn't show you guys, and that is non-fat milk. So you're going to want to pour 1 cup of non-fat milk in here. I'm going to guesstimate that as well. So guess what? Another unboxing video! No, I'm just kidding. Okay, so I might have bought this just for this video. Don't tell anyone, but my wallet did not appreciate it. We are going to mix the wet ingredients. I don't know how I feel about this sound. Typically, like, you have the wet ingredients and you slowly add the wet into the dry, but this recipe is actually the opposite. So you'll want to take your dry ingredients. I'm just going to take a fork and kind of just distribute everything as evenly as possible. Okay, so I have evenly distributed the ingredients in this bowl. I'm gonna slowly pour this in. It says to do it in 4 equal parts. I'm a Virgo. I should follow those directions, but I don't know. The dark side of me is like, I don't care. So I'm just going to gradually pour this in and mix it up a little bit. So we have our batter ready to go. It's very silky and velvety. All that's left to do is to grease the Bundt pan. Take some butter, and there's really no good way of doing it. Just, I put it on my fingers. I swear I'm not a Virgo. This is like probably the only like non-Virgo thing about me. And then I just kind of rub it all in the crevices of the pan. Just want to grease the pan up, that way it's easy, because clearly with a Bundt pan, you're gonna flip it upside down and hopefully it will beautifully and seamlessly fall out onto the plate or whatever you're going to present it on, and it be wonderful. Now that I have this greased up and lubed up really well. That was a really poor choice of words, and I apologize for that. So I'm going to pour this batter in, and obviously with it being almond flour, the consistency is going to be a little different. It's not going to be the same as like a box cake mix that you'll buy at the store, and that's okay. It's going to taste delicious. I am a texture guy. Don't know if there are any texture fans out there. I'm a big fan of texture. Okay, so now that I got that on my elbow, can't do this without getting chocolate on your elbow. It is a must. You have to have chocolate on your elbow. This little guy is gonna bake for 65 to 75 minutes. So it does take a little bit. Luckily for you guys, you don't have to wait that long, but I will say we're not quite finished. There is a glaze that we will drizzle on top of this, but since we have to wait a good 10 to 20 minutes after we take it out of the oven, I thought that we would do the drizzle while it's already cooling off. Popping it in the oven, and I will see you guys on the other side. Okay, so our beautiful cake is cooling over here off to the side. So the glaze is relatively simple. The only ingredients you need for the glaze are the cocoa powder or cacao powder, whichever you use, maple syrup. I have sugar-free maple syrup, and then your non-fat milk again. So I am going to use measurements for this. I do not want to mess the glaze up. I'm just gonna get approximately 3 tablespoons of the cocoa powder. And then what you want to do is have 2 teaspoons of maple syrup. Yeah, the measurement thing already went out the window. And then 2.5 teaspoons of milk. As you can see, it's nice, silky, smooth. The cake needs to cool just a little bit more. And then we'll be right back to flip her out and then glaze her up and then stuff her in my mouth. We're gonna forget I just said that. Welcome back. I have let this cool now for like 20 to 30 minutes, which I think is excellent. And I am getting ready to flip. So, without further ado, let's see if we did it to him. Okay. There we go. Okay, so this thing is not wanting to come out, which is what I was afraid of happening. This is really unfortunate. I'm literally shaking. That scares me to do that. Oh man. Let's see if that goes. It came out. It came out. Okay, I'm not gonna lift it up yet. It's falling apart, I can already tell. But let's see how bad it looks now. Oh man. Oh no. Yeah. She's stuck. So, this has proven me to be a failure in life and baking. For some reason, this cake did not want to come out. It's stuck really bad in the bottom. I've never had this happen before. All of my bundt cakes have been successful, but I've never done a recipe like this. I've never done a bundt cake with almond flour. So, I'm proud of myself for at least trying to bake me a cake. It tastes wonderful, at least. I'm gonna still drizzle it. It looks like crap. But you know what? I don't care. It's my birthday. I'll eat whatever birthday cake I wanna eat. Let's get this on here. It looks so bad. Look at that. It's a disaster. Such a catastrophe. But the show must go on, as they say. And for the glaze portion, all you do is you want to get a Ziploc bag and you want to pour it into the bag. I'm gonna try to squeeze it all to the corner at the bottom. And I'm gonna cut the tip off and then put it on. Now it's time for my favorite part, which is going to be the taste test. You get a bite with some glaze. That's a big, there we go. Mmm. Oh my gosh. This is so good. Man, I wish this had not happened at the bottom. My teeth are gonna be like really brown and chocolatey. I'm not gonna remake this cake, 'cause like I said, I don't waste food. I know all those fancy YouTubers, they're out there just kind of living their best life, and if it doesn't come out pretty, they just kind of redo the whole video, and I'm like, I'm not doing that. Because this was just for me anyway. And I'm living my best life right now, eating chocolate cake. And not feeling guilty about it because of the ingredients that are in it. This is delicious. I've destroyed the cake. I'm just like breaking it up. There's no way to slice it at this point. It just looks like a pile of crumpled cake on a plate. That glaze is really good. I like the maple syrup in it. I will say, those of you who love dark chocolate will probably enjoy this cake more than people who don't. I eat 95–98% dark chocolate, so I am a lover of how this tastes. I feel like most people wouldn't, but again, it's my birthday and my birthday cake, and just for me anyway, so why does it matter? Man, this turned into a mukbang. I really don't eat cake often, but leads me to my question. What is your favorite type of cake? Like, what do you like to eat for your birthday? I love cheesecake. I did not want to take that challenge on in making my first ever cheesecake. Let me know if you'd like to see that video where I attempt to make my first cheesecake. But I am a fan when I'm not thinking healthy, okay? I'm gonna throw out the whole like having healthier recipes like this one. I am a lover of red velvet cake and carrot cake. Those are hands down my two favorite cakes of all time. Red velvet cake is not just chocolate cake, okay? You can fight me on that. I will go to my grave saying that. Thanks for hanging out with me. If you watched this video and made it all the way to the end, I really appreciate it. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up and also click that subscribe button if you haven't done so already. I'd love to have you be a part of my channel. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.